Hey everybody, Backpack Hack here coming at you with another trail tip for those of you who have one of these, a ThermaRest air mattress or sleeping pad. Not the self-inflating type, but the kind that you have to actually push air into, either with your breath or some other sort of pump. Especially those of you who have this, is what they call their classic valve now. And the reason they're calling this a classic valve is they're going to a new wing valve system. The sad thing is you can't convert an existing air mattress or sleeping pad to that new wing. If you want that system, you're going to have to buy a whole new mattress pad or sleeping pad, whatever you want to call it. There's no way to convert them. And there's probably a lot of people like me who have this type of sleeping pad or this type of valve on their sleeping pad. And I just don't want to give up a perfectly good sleeping pad just because the valve is now obsolete. Now, there's two ways that you can pump these up. You can either blow with your breath or get some sort of attachment that goes on here that will mechanically somehow blow air. And for years, ThermaRest has provided something for that in what they call a pump sack. And I bought this one about 6-7 years ago. And what it is it has a special piece of plastic here on the very bottom that fits over that valve. And then you can blow, you can just open it up, get some volume to it, close it up, and then squeeze the air into the mattress pad. This is like, I want to say $30 today. The problem is if they're going to convert all their pads to these new wing valves, my guess is these are going to start disappearing. So if you want to spend the money on this, you can go ahead and do it. But $30 may be a little bit too much to choke down. So I'm going to show you how to make one of your own DIY pump sacks for a lot less money with things that you already have around your house more than likely. And to complete this project, all you're going to need is an empty soda bottle with its cap, an unused 13-gallon trash container, and a hose washer. These are things that you're probably either going to find around the house or you're going to be able to find very, very inexpensively. So here's how to put it together. First off, we're going to cut the top of this off. Now, how you do this is going to depend on what you have available to you. I happen to have a bandsaw, so it was no big problem for me to cut this off with a bandsaw. I'm not going to suggest you do it with a knife because these are very, very sturdy bottles, especially with a knife. And even with a brand new sharp utility knife, they can be hard to cut, and I don't want to see you get hurt. So if you can, find some power tools to do this with. So all you're going to do is you're going to cut the top off. The rest of the bottle you can put back in the recycle bin. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole in the cap. And this is where it's going to get tricky. If you have a drill press, that's fine. I don't. So I had to just kind of cobble something together in my shop to do this with, and all I did was use a unibit and a cordless drill. And here's how I did that. And finally, we're going to cut just a little bit of the corner off the bottom of this trash bag. Maybe 2.5 inches. That's all we need to do. All we're going to do is take the cut end of our trash bag up through the opening of the old bottle, pull the ends or the sides down over the threads. We're going to flip our cap over, set our hose washer in, and then we're going to twist our cap onto the top of the bottle that we cut off. And so we end up with something like this. And that is all you need to do to assemble your DIY pump sack. Now, if you're wondering how well this compares to the factory version, let's race them. I'm going to put both of these to the test with this. This is a ThermaRest NeoAir X-Therm Large. This is the one I prefer when I'm backpacking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow this up twice, once with the factory and once with the DIY. So let's put a timer up here and let's get started. And there you have it. Who says we don't have fun on this channel when we drag race filling up sleeping pads with air? The results between a factory pump sack and a DIY one. Give you a few words of advice, however. If you're going to the trouble of making these little pieces, make several. First off, they're cheap and easy to make, but 99% of your work is staging just to get this cut and drill this hole. So if you have the opportunity to do one, you just as well do as many as you feel comfortable with, 3 or 4 or 10 or 20, however many you feel comfortable with. That way, all you got to do is get another garbage sack, cut the corner off, put the washer in the cap, assemble them, and you're ready to go. And in fact, I actually have a couple extras made already, because when I made this, I made the ones for these. So make some extras. Second off, if you're going to be backpacking through the backcountry with one of these, carry an extra bag. That way, because this stuff isn't all that heavy duty. It's not near as heavy duty as this. And so it'd be very, very easy to rip or puncture this somehow and render it basically useless. So if you had a second bag, which wouldn't take up any space or weight in your bag at all, throw one in there, and that way if you do rip this, you've got some extras. And finally, if you want to, if nothing else, either give this part or an assembled kit to one of your friends or some of your friends. They're going to make great stocking stuffers for your backpacking friends. I'm sure they would love to have one. If they either don't want to cough up the money for one of these or never heard of it, I'm sure they would appreciate something like this, and they can always use it as a template for making their own. So with that, I'm going to leave you with this tip. This is Backpack Cat coming up to you with this trail tip. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share my videos. Be safe out there, and I'll see you out on the trail.